Alright, so moving on to the next segment, I'll be sharing my thoughts on Alycia Bumgardner testing positive for 2 banned substances. So, the news broke out yesterday that the reigning, defending, undisputed 130 pound undisputed champion in the sport of boxing in the women's division, Alycia Bumgardner, tested positive for 2 banned substances. The 2 banned substances were mesterolone and PEDs. That is bad in a drug-free sport. Alycia Bumgardner has took a piss test 3 days before her fight against Christina Lordardo back in July. And the results came back positive as a drug test on August 10th. So before I get deeper into this, I came up with the assumption, the more I thought about this over the last 24 hours, I think not only Alycia Bumgardner, I'm going to get to that in a few seconds, but the details matter. If you know and you follow the sport of boxing, there's only been one promotional company that has been behind fighters testing positive for banned substances over the last 12 or so months in the sport of boxing. And that is Matchroom Boxing. Eddie Hearns is responsible for this. He has to have some accountability because if you remember, Conor Benn, before he was supposed to have his big fight over in the UK just a year ago, he tested positive for a banned substance. He has not been back into the sport of boxing since. His method was, I ate 30 eggs a day, or this is why I look like an action figure. Bottom line is, this is another Matchroom boxing employee that has been caught for banned substances that are not supposed to be able. First, I'm just confused right off the bat. How is Alycia Bumgardner that took this test 2 days prior to the fight against Christina Lordardo, which was on the DAZN Matchroom pay-per-view, the results had to come back faster than this. How do you only get the result? How do you get the results nearly a month after Alycia Bumgardner and Christina Lordardo fought each other? Matchroom has some they have some things to discuss. Eddie Hearns has some things to discuss for the future in terms of his boxers testing positive for banned substances. And the thing is, Alycia Bumgardner might be in a world of trouble. Because boxing, there is no cheating in the sport of boxing. Boxing is a drug-free sport. And I hate when I hear boxers test positive for illegal banned substances because it's cheating. It's your way to get over on your opponent, not by training hard, not by watching film, not by going harder in your camp, but it's going to substances to make yourself better and improve your game in the wrong ways. And unfortunately, this is what has happened to one of the best women that the sport of boxing has to offer. Alycia Bumgardner is up there with the big names in the women's division right now with Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, Carissa Shields. She's up there with a lot of big names right now. And unfortunately, she is going to be viewed in a different way for many reasons for testing positive for these two banned substances in the sport. And I do believe that Alycia Bumgardner could be in trouble for several reasons. And these are the reasons why I do believe that she is in a world of trouble in the sport of boxing. So her last victory against Christina Lordardo honestly might be overturned or ruled a no contest. And that's heartbreaking because if you guys remember a month ago, Alycia Bumgardner and Christina Lordardo, they fought in July, at the midway point of July. They fought in Detroit, Michigan, which was the homecoming of Alycia Bumgardner. And if you guys followed the storyline for that fight, the only woman to ever defeat Alycia Bumgardner in a pro boxing ring was Christina Lordardo. And they got the rematch. She finally got her grudge win. And now it might be tainted because the only woman that beat you in your career might say you had to use banned substances in order to beat her. Now that this has officially been announced, your win against your arch nemesis might be overturned. It might be overruled. It might be called a no contest because that fight came all the way down to split decision. So we don't know what's going to happen. That might go down as another loss on Alycia Bumgardner's career or overturned. That's another bad thing. Second bad thing is she could be stripped of all of her titles, stripping her of having the title labelized as an undisputed champion. And that's something that no boxer wants to go through. If you're going to lose your belts, you might as well lose them, not paying your sanction fees. or losing your belts to another respective fighter. Not in a way that like this. All sanctioned bodies might strip her of all of her respective championships. I'm talking WBO, WBC, WBA, IBF. They all might come to terms and all come to agreement. They're all going to take their belts one by one and strip her of her titles. This is huge because in the next few days we could find out the fate of her being an undisputed champion at 130 pounds. And the thing is, not only that, but we could honestly see her face a huge suspension from the sport of boxing, ranging from 6 months to a year. Like I just mentioned in the beginning of the video, Conor Benn has honestly been fighting to get back into the boxing ring after being tested positive for his banned substances. That happened all the way at the end, around this time last year, and it still hasn't been resolved. He's still never been in a boxing ring. So Alycia Bumgardner might be suspended for the next 6 months to a year, which is very disappointing because not only has Alycia Bumgardner worked her way to the top of the mountain, it could take a big hit on her career. Her path to being the undisputed champion at 130 might be tainted now. Her knockout victory over Terry to get there, her controversial win against Michaela Mayer. It's so tough to think about because now that she's tested positive for this, everything she's worked for could be taken away, and it's gonna take a hit on her career immediately. And I think legacy-wise, if she's stripped of her titles, that there's no way she can overturn this because she's already coming over social media, posting videos that she is training hard. She's worked pretty hard. I am in shock because this is one of the top competitors in the sport of boxing, the women's division, testing positive for these banned substances. And now we're thinking about what's going to happen next. What's the fate of the 130-pound division going to look like? What's next? I have nothing else to say. Those are my thoughts on Alycia Bumgardner testing positive for 2 banned substances.